Hello and welcome to the ExchangeWire Voxpop. ATS London is just around the corner, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Olha Paramonova, VP of AdTech at Sigma Software Group. Welcome, Olya.
Hi, John. Hi, guys. I'm very happy to be here with you today and very much looking forward to the event. It's going to be my second event. The previous one was in Singapore, where we had tons of fun, amazing insights. So very much looking forward to meet in June.
We're looking forward to it too. Great to have you on board. Olya will be joining our panel session on first-party data, which will look at how brands can take back control of their own data and maximize their data management strategy. And we're going to dive into that a little bit with Olya today. So, Olya, as cookies deprecate, are publishers finding themselves in a new position of strength, do you think?
Well, in our world, nothing happens automatically. So the position of strength also is not happening to publishers automatically. And thinking about it first, it's a lot of challenges associated with this change in the industry. However, if you fight the challenges with strategic thinking, with using the right technology, being collaborative in the industry with other players, you can really then find yourself in a position of strength. So I think that continuous effort of publishers within certain areas will then help them uncover the current opportunities. And these opportunities are within certain areas. So there are a lot of them, but I think that we can focus on just a couple. So first thing is owning data, which is certainly going to be the focus for publishers, for them to be less reliant on third parties, knowing their audience more, and that building a greater value that they can use monetization for better advertisers, building a better experience for users, which is the end of this chain. Probably most important to create the environment where consumed together with information in a very user-friendly is not a new world, right? So it's like everyone's user-friendly, everyone tries to build something user-friendly, self-service portals, content which is consumed user-friendly. But I'm sure, John, you know that for some publishers, like when you open the page or an app, you understand that this page was built for a user to be able to read information, to be able to, it's about user and about this being did within the page. And some publishers are built for ads to be placed. And when you open those publishers, you understand that it's the whole layout is structured just with the only purpose to be able to place as many banners, as many ads as possible. For example, there is a pagination where only you have 10 images per one article, and you have to actually click 10 times each new image, and that's always a new page for an ad to be served. So usually users don't they feel it's about monetization and ads, not about content, and they don't stick to those publishers. And I think the whole this is a beginning of the process for moving the quality of the internet to the new level. Quality is a hard thing because you can never be quality as qualified enough, because this parameter is not stale. It changes every year. However, I think that there are going to be more publishers which would be user-centric and content-centric rather than just serving ads to get some money.
Yeah, it's an interesting point there in terms of that quality and also the user needs. And how do you think you can balance this need for user privacy and an increasingly privacy-centric outlook with the need that brands have for effective targeting in their digital advertising?
Yeah, so balancing is a hard thing to do, and I think that like the right balance might be reached if you set your focus right. So as we mentioned in the previous question, like right now focus is the user, and you need to really win the user so that the user sticks at your page, you get an update. So you need to find ways how to stay in ongoing collaboration with people who are your audience. And so that, like in the current world, like people want to be respected, people want to have transparency in the areas where they operate, and they want to avoid random things that happen to them. So I guess that like focusing on user needs first will bring this balance, because if you just avoid right collaboration with your audience, you cannot then build the full journey. And for that, I think that like we've seen a lot of publishers building very transparent setup in terms of like how we use your data. If you want to join it, some of this consent checkboxes are very difficult to understand. However, if you make an effort to understand them, most likely you will find it very clear how the data is used. You can always, like within quality publishers, you can disconnect and stop being part of the ads. That's also a very good value of respect for people, and it's important to get them a clear vision, like why this thing happened to you on this page, why you received this ad, how you can not receive that. And also monetization options are also, I think, a good way to balance it. So for example, like those subscription models, they can be very interesting, and you may not always like exchange content for paid subscription, which so far was a very popular way. Like you can avoid ads, but in this case you pay $1 per month, for example. It can be the opposite. You can just offer users to subscribe the content for free, but in this case you will have a login, like a user registered within your platform, and you will be able to understand what you're doing and build segments wisely and make them relevant eventually for advertisers. So this is also transparency. It's not like you charging users, but this is a fair exchange of like quality and very like nice scenarios that you can experience at particular places.
Yeah, and that's the that's one of the main questions for your panel at ATS London around the question around first-party data, which comes from these subscription models. How do you see first-party data and privacy-focused advertising really bolstering publishers?
I think that this is like at the moment it's a good option to start understanding your audience, and audience is the is like people who build your data, right, for you. So I think that understand that if you as a publisher invest into right tools and understand how to not only like collect data, store it in compliance with all the standards, of course, and that's also very difficult. But if you architecture the data collection process in the right way, then this data can be valuable. And I think that's an iterative process, because you cannot just one day sit with your team and understand, okay, let's collect those 5 metrics, and that's what we're going to use for the next year. No, it should evolve into some like final, more or less accurate set of various metrics on keywords, on users, on geo, on even like collaborate, like if that's sponsored or not, what users stick to on the pages, if they, for example, if there is a sponsored content, is it a bad influence on them or not? So there are tons of ways to actually measure it, and the amount of metrics can be very small, can be very wide, depending on how much effort you spend actually sitting with the audience and data, and also collaborating with advertisers to understand what they are looking for, and do you at the moment collect enough information to answer their questions? So that's all challenging, but again, like having, first of all, deep understanding of the audience is one aspect. Then eventually it leads to having better monetization opportunities, because then publishers can come to advertisers and say, hey, look, we have this is like deep enough knowledge of what you might reach using our platform, or tons of platforms, because publishers can be small or a scale, so it can be very rich set of information. Also, I think that and we spoke about the quality, and I think quality has never gone off of the discussions, and intrusive ads that are very annoying, and the structure of the information itself. I think that like focusing on quality is also going to help publishers to be at the top of the current competition, because users would anyways be looking for a calm environment, and there are tools how to now, like, so instead of protecting ourselves with ad blockers, you can actually build your your pages in a way where certain ads just don't appear on the screen, and that's not causing users to leave. So that's another part of it. Also, I think that for publishers, privacy-focused advertising is an important aspect in terms of being dependent on different vendors, on the ecosystem, or refocusing in terms of ownership to themselves. Again, that's possible only when you invest into setting it in the right way. It doesn't come automatically by default, but those who would do it will be more free in terms of getting their place within the ecosystem. I guess that's maybe it for this question, but that's, as always, tons of things to discuss, and yeah, I think like the concept that we discussed in the beginning might be the core one. Is it for whom it is built now? And I think the focus should be building it for users and for the quality, rather than just for monetization, which is a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think you've touched on this in the last answer, really, but the next question was about that mutually beneficial relationship for brands and publishers. And I think, there's the value exchange, the quality that you've talked about, but how do you see that relationship really looking?
So I think that like relationship are mutual thing. They don't happen with one side and another side doesn't do anything. So that's like teamwork, and to make any relationship, any teamwork effective, it requires like participation of all the sides. And I think between publishers and advertisers, it's a good way to collaborate, like to have good results. It's a great way to, when you collaborate on what's being built. It's not only like content that publishers might be building in collaboration with advertisers. It's also even advertisers to collaborate with publishers when they build and design marketing campaigns, because some of the things might be achieved through publishers, some of them might hardly be achieved, but if there is an ongoing dialogue between two sides, then I believe the efficiency will be much higher than both sides operating in complete isolation. So, and like there are many aspects of that, like joint content creation. Also, being transparent with in the user eyes. Like if that content is sponsored, there is nothing wrong with it. Advertising is not only about promotion, but also it has a lot of informational initiatives, right? To let people know about something. It's not sell your product. Some of the ads are very just for information, so we need to understand that. Like looking at ads, it's not from just angle of selling goods. It's wrong. So sponsored content is not wrong, but actually telling users it's sponsored is great. And we see a lot of things like in video environment where like before you see the movie, you understand actually some of the things are sponsored, and that's great to know. And in this case, when you've been warned about it, you feel it's not being intrusive. And that's like in how it works in our psychology, right? How we think about it. So you are being told about something, you accept the information in a very easy way. Also, I think another part of this beneficial collaboration is really transparent data relationship. And it starts from building the goals for campaign, and then making a match between the goals and possibilities from what we see from the data, and also ongoingly checking performance of each campaigns together with publishers to understand if like we are going in the right course, or something might not change, and just have an open dialogue to adjust the campaign where it's needed to deliver it, and craft to increase the possibility to have a better engagement from the audience side. So yeah, I guess that these are main aspects of it.
Great stuff. Well, as I said, you're going to be at ATS London on the first party data panels, so I will leave my questions on that stuff there, and we won't spoil any more for the audience. But my last question is, what are you most looking to at ATS London this year? We're looking forward to having you. What's exciting you about the event?
Yeah, as always, very much looking forward to meeting people, and that's the audience that you gather is always like full of great insights. Actually, like when I visited the Singapore event, I had a perception of the conference like you just here need to sit and like when it's time you go, you have your panel, and then but at some point I realized that I'm actually very attentively listening to the panelists and to people who do presentations, and yeah, I hope this experience would be the same in London, and we would hear a lot of interesting details about trends. Very interested in AI. Hope we will see some of the regulations soon there. Also very interested, and I'm a big fan of audio ads, so that part is also interesting for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really great to chat to you, and looking forward to seeing you at ATS London. Thanks again, Olya. Take care.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah, likewise.
Thank you very much.